Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 47, Euthyphro 8d to 9a. Socrates has led Euthyphro to the conclusion that people don't dispute the fact that unjust people should be punished, but they do dispute who is unjust. Having established this about humans, Socrates returns to the gods. Ukun auta getauta kai hoi theoi peponthasin, eper stasiadzus in periton dikaion kadikon hosos logos, kai hoimen fasin elelus adikeen, hoide u fasin. So the very same things happen to the gods if they have conflicts about just and unjust things according to your argument, and some of them claim that others of them perform unjust things, and others deny. Epe keinoge depu othamasie, udes ute theon ute anthropon tolma legen, hos toge adikunti doteon diken. Since that indeed, O wonderful man, no one, neither of the gods nor of humans, dares to say that the person doing injustice shouldn't pay the penalty. Nai, tuto men alethes leges, O Socrates toge kephalaion. Yes, this you say true, Socrates, in principle. What I've just translated as in principle could also be understood as in a nutshell, because Euthyphro could add a lot more detail to what Socrates has been saying about mythology, because Euthyphro is the expert, or he likes to project himself as the expert, even though I suggest that Socrates as well is as expert as Euthyphro. If indeed they are both experts on mythology, how is it that they have reached a conclusion which is completely wrong? The gods never, ever consider justice when it comes to their own relations. Justice is for humans, not for gods. The gods do whatever they like against each other, with each other, for each other, but it's always about what is in their own interest. They are not concerned with justice. The whole argument is driven by Socrates, so the question really is why Euthyphro agrees with this conclusion, and how did Socrates lead to this conclusion, knowing that Euthyphro would agree with it. The basic premises were, according to Euthyphro, that the gods are in conflict with each other, and that what he is doing against his father is parallel to things that gods did to their fathers. And because he's in a trial in which it matters who's being just and who's being unjust, that is why he added that the fathers in question were unjust. They were doing something unjust, and therefore the son had some justification for doing what the son did, in each case something rather disgusting. Socrates adopts the notion that the gods are in conflict with each other, and throughout the argument ever since he has been saying, according to your argument, Euthyphro, if indeed the gods are in conflict with each other. He's made this very emphatic. This is Euthyphro's position. This is indeed the position of mythology, and the difference between Euthyphro and Socrates is that Euthyphro believes it and Socrates doesn't. Socrates goes along with it for the sake of the argument, but he makes it clear that he has reservations. If the problem of conflict among the gods was the main point, the argument wouldn't have been so long. What makes the argument so long is the point about justice. At the beginning, the main point was made by Euthyphro that Zeus is considered the most just of the gods, and yet he bound his father. This justifies his own prosecution of his father. That's what he originally intended. He added as a sort of afterthought that the sons did what they did to their fathers because their fathers did something unjust. It's a rhetorical point which would have some influence on the judges in Euthyphro's case. It is not the case in the stories that the sons did what they did to their fathers because their fathers had done something unjust. They did what they did because it served their own interests. It served the interests of Kronos' mother, for example. She's the one who gave Kronos a sickle to help get rid of Uranos. And it was Gaia again who helped Zeus against Kronos without any mention of justice. And yet, at the end of the argument, we see that the gods are apparently in conflict with each other about who among the gods is unjust. And they have conflicts over that specifically. It's a far stronger situation than the one presented by Euthyphro at the beginning. And yet Euthyphro can agree with this because it somehow supports the position he's using in his court case. How did Socrates achieve the transformation with regard to justice? He insinuated that all conflict arises from disagreement. This is not the case. A lot of conflict arises from jealousy, envy, lust. All the stories in Greek mythology tend to be about anything but disagreement over an opinion. Having pointed out that some opinions can be resolved simply by measuring, weighing, calculating, he then goes on to those things which cannot be solved in this way, and these are not just about justice. There's also beauty and goodness, but they have been dropped since then. He's forgotten completely about goodness and beauty, and he's concentrating only on justice. And it is as if in justice there is no way to come to an agreement. It's as if Euthyphro and Socrates didn't have court cases pending. The whole point of a court case is to resolve a conflict in justice. Euthyphro, however, is not concerned with justice. He's prosecuting his father because of miasma, and for him the court case will resolve that problem. It will resolve the miasma. He is concerned with the holy and not with justice. He still uses the terminology of the law courts, and he still says that his father is unjust. But the point is that his father killed someone. Whether he did so rightly or not, that's another problem. But he did kill someone, and that results in miasma. And the only way to remove miasma in Athens, classical Athens, is to go to court. At not any court, but the court presided over by the Archon Basilios. So what is Socrates playing at? We remember that all of this has come about because Socrates asked Euthyphro to teach him what to hosion is, what the holy is. And Euthyphro said, it's that which is loved by the gods. And this led to Socrates pointing out that the gods are in conflict over various things. And we have reached the point where he's specifically saying, not that the gods are in conflict over the holy, but they are in conflict over who is just, who is unjust. What does justice have to do with the holy? I'll let you think about that while Socrates sums up the argument so far. Al hekaston geoimai o Euthyphron ton prachenton amphispetusin hoi amphispetuntes, kai anthropoi kai theoi eper amphispetusin theoi. Praxeos tinos peri dia pheromenoi hoimin dikaios fasin auten peprachthai hoide adikos aruchuto panuge. We had left off with Socrates saying that no one dares to say that those who commit injustice shouldn't pay the penalty, but rather, Euthyphro, about each of the things done they dispute. Those who dispute, both men, humans, and gods, if indeed gods dispute, differing about some act, some claim that it was done justly, and others unjustly. Isn't this so? Completely. The first time that Socrates had asked Euthyphro what the holy was, the hosion, Euthyphro said, yeah, it's what I'm doing now by prosecuting my father. The second time he says that hosion is what is loved by the gods. If we put both of those together, we get the result that the gods love what Euthyphro is doing now, prosecuting his father. But Euthyphro now agrees that the gods are in dispute over who is just, who is unjust, and which actions are just or unjust. So the logical conclusion is that the gods don't agree that Euthyphro is doing something just, and therefore they don't all love what he is doing, and therefore Euthyphro is not being holy at the moment. He's not doing something which is holy. It would be easy to say that Euthyphro is stupid, that he doesn't see what's coming, but we should also consider the possibility that Euthyphro can see where the argument is going, but considers himself to be a special case. Socrates could have pointed out the obvious, that if the gods disagree over who is just, what is just, and so on, Euthyphro cannot be so confident that he has the gods on his side, all of the gods on his side. Instead of that, Socrates carries on in character as the student of Euthyphro. Ithinun o phile Euthyphron, didaxon kaeme hina sophoteros genomai, tisoi tekmerion estin hos pantis the oi heguntai ekenon adikos tethnanai. Come now, my friend Euthyphro, teach me as well, so that I may become more expert. What evidence do you have that all the gods consider that he has been killed unjustly? So Socrates is no longer asking Euthyphro about the holy, at least not directly. He's asking about what is just, what is unjust. This is a major shift in the dialogue. Of course, it's not a paradigm shift.